Guys, when we are raised, my father raised me this way. And I think a lot of men, especially my age, but even going down to young men, are taught, hey, if a woman needs a hand with something, help her out. You're stronger, or men fix cars more often than women do. So if you see a woman stranded on the side of the road and it looks like a flat and she doesn't know what she's doing, maybe offer some help. This is the kindness and the benevolence of men. And we've been raised this way because, we'll help other men. If I saw a guy sitting I'll give you a good story, actually. I just thought of this. So I was driving, it was during a rainstorm. I was driving to go get slushies, of all things, the big icy slushies from the local convenience store, because a gal I was dating at the time, she and I had run an ultra marathon earlier in the day, and we'd gotten back, and it was late at night, like around, I want to say 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and we'd run an ultra marathon that morning. And so I went out for slushies because I'm like, hey, we burnt the calories. Let's do this. And she really wanted one, and I love them. So long story short, going to get slushies. And as I was driving, I saw somebody that had hydroplaned and spun off the road, and it looked like a young couple. And the guy was sitting there, and I could see him doing this, which is like the universal sign for I don't know. And I said, well, let me pull over and see if they need a ride or something, because the front corner panel looked pretty banged up, and it was raining. So I pulled over and I said, you guys need a hand? He's like, yeah, we spun out, the tire's flat and I don't know how to change it. And I said, all right, well, let me take a look. I went up, I looked. I said, man, your rim is bent. It looks like your front quarter panel's dinged in. Like, it looks like your CV joint, like, not that I can know what a CV joint looks like, but there looked like there was enough damage. I was just said, look, fixing the tire's not gonna fix this for you. I said, hop in my car, I'll give you a ride down to the gas station, and you guys can make a phone call or whatever from there and stay dry while you're waiting. They threw a wet dog. The two of them climbed in my car. I took them down there, and afterwards, I had leather seats. Afterwards, I had to wipe everything out and clean up. But that's not the point. It's helping your fellow human being. Well, apparently, if you're a guy and you help a woman, you're being a benevolent sexist. And that's a bad thing. And now they find that even 5-year-old children tend to do this, which is a bad thing. So let's go over this, because this is what I'm telling you when I say, you know what, women are, if you see a guy and a girl and they're getting into it, and they're having a fight, as long as there's no weapons pulled out, because then, you got to start making some phone calls to the police. If a guy or girl are getting into it, let them have at it. They're on their own. If you see a woman that's pulled over on the side of the road and she's got her hazards on and she looks like she needs help, let her call AAA. Let her call her own taxi cab. Let her call. I know, it's awful. But this article is telling you they don't want your help. It's benevolent sexism. So, let's record. And thank you for the user that sent this in to me, because this is one I hadn't seen. So if you emailed me this story, thank you. It says 5-year-old children are, and now I can't say these words too many times because they whack so I'll just say exist, right? 5-year-old children are exist and become less so as they grow up, but boys still display benevolent exism at the age of 11, study shows. What does that mean? Well, it means that they try to help women where they might not help a man in the same situation. And that's not treating everybody equally, is it now? Now, me, I would have treated a man the same as a woman, and I'd try to help them both. But nope, I'll just help the men. That way you can't mistake me for being a benevolent person. 5-year-old children have inherent exism that wears off as they grow, but this process takes longer in little boys, according to a new study. U.S. researchers found that negative views of women held by children disappear with age, but benevolent sexism diminishes only for girls. Hostile perceptions decline for both boys and girls as they get older. However, boys maintain benevolent or seemingly positive views at age 11. Boys who think they are being chivalrous may actually view women as weak and helpless, attitudes that last throughout childhood and possibly into adulthood. The study investigates the children hostile and benevolent attitudes, which may seem inoffensive, but still undermines women. That's right, guys. Do not treat them any different than you would a man. But if you would help out a fellow man, don't help out a woman, because they may think that you're just being benevolent. Heaven forbid. If foreign invaders were to land on our soil And men said, okay, all you, have at it. Can you imagine the outrage that the men didn't help? No wonder so many young men are confused. As a matter of fact, let me pull up a different woman subway man didn't help. There was a story. There was a story where a woman, and I don't know if I can find it. You'll have to Google it because I don't see it here, and I don't want to take forever to search for it. There was a story where a woman was being attacked by a man on a subway car, and I think it was in the UK. And two older gentlemen that looked to be in their 50s watched and picked up the phone, I think, and to call the police, but did not intervene and did not put themselves in harm's way. The woman was upset with the guy that attacked her, but she was more upset with the men that didn't come to her defense. And I remember very clearly she said something like, they just looked on. They could have stopped him from grabbing my purse and pushing me down, but they just looked and they didn't do anything. And she said, and that just upset me so much. They could see that he was a guy and a little bit bigger guy, and I'm a smaller woman, and they were bigger guys, and they could have done something. Can't have it both ways. You cannot have it. You can't say, hey, you guys helping and treating us different than. Can't have it both ways. So now, again, more and more men are saying, hey, that's on you. If it were a guy being attacked by another guy, would women jump in? Nope, they would not. Hey, we want everything parity, everything equal. No one's treated any differently than anyone else. So that's it. We're out. And you know what? They want it, according to this article at least. They say most people understand this attitude to refer to openly negative attitudes towards women, the researchers note, but benevolent sexism can be undermining, patronizing, and often overlooked. It might seem cute when a boy acts in a chivalrous way towards girls, or when a girl pretends to be a princess who's waiting for a prince to rescue her, said study author Dr. Andre Simpian from New York University. Yeah, but how many times do women put on their dating profiles, I'm a queen, this queen bee, I want to be treated like a princess? Y'all need to get your group together and figure out what you want. Because you can't be treated like a princess and be treated like an equal at the same time. Which is why a lot of men, again, are not stepping up and saying, look, until you guys figure out what you want, I don't even want to try. Now, of course, smart men say, even once you've figured out what you want, I still don't want to try. But they don't even know what they want between themselves. And that's why I say the only way the girl power movement and all that ends is not from men complaining, it's from women complaining. Women, if you like guys doing chivalrous, nice things like holding the door open and paying for dates and manning up when something goes wrong, or if you get a flat tire, instead of him saying, well, you better call a tow company and good luck, and I guess you won't be making it to our date tonight, huh? If you want him to instead say, where are you? I'll come help you. If you want that, you women need to tell these other women to get on board and shut up. Because until you do, men are getting mixed messages and they just say, forget it. So anyway, they continue on. Many times this is just play with no deeper meaning, but other times these behaviors, even though they may have seemed inoffensive, might signal that children view women in a negative light as weak. Well, you are weaker than men, just so you know. Incompetent. You may be... Wait a minute. Okay, so if it signals that a woman's incompetent about working on her vehicle or needing help, but why is it okay that when a commercial airs on TV and the man's like, I don't know how to cook, and he makes a mess, and there's he's burnt the cooking, and there's a mess in the kitchen, and the woman puts her hand on her hip and is like, oh, you, and she has to fix it? Doesn't that make men look incompetent? But that's okay on a commercial. But God forbid that a woman might need help on something and a man helps her. That makes them look Come on, get your act together, guys. You don't even know what you're talking about. Anyway. Negative light is weak, incompetent, and unable to survive or thrive without a man's help. Okay, man, that's all on you. Previous studies have shown adults who hold hostile views also possess ones that are benevolent. But psychologists have been unsure whether children also hold these perceptions and whether or not these change through childhood. To find out more, researchers studied the attitudes of more than 200 children aged 5 to 11 in New York City and Urbana-Champaign in Illinois. These children were asked if a series of statements classified as indicators of either benevolent or hostile views were right or wrong. For example, men need to protect women from danger was a benevolent statement, and women get more upset than men about small things was defined as a hostile statement. Interestingly enough, both are true. Sorry, they are. Both are true. The results showed that if a child agreed with a hostile statement, they were more likely to agree with a benevolent one. Like me, like I just did. This is something we did not know before about young children's gender attitudes, says Dr. Simpian. The findings also revealed children hostile views decreased with age for both boys and girls, but benevolent views declined only for girls. This may be due to being surrounded by these social norms through early childhood. Boys may be less likely to recognize that their benevolent attitudes towards women are in fact patronizing, he said. For an instance, they may hold on to the belief that men ought to protect women because this view is in line with social norms and may be reinforced through their upbringing. To remedy this, the authors suggest the current bug lockdown could be a good opportunity to outline the potential harmful effects of benevolent views. That's it. Don't help them, guys. They don't want it. They don't want it because you're patronizing, you're showing them as weak, you're showing them as ineffectual. So when a woman has a problem, you say, handle it. Men handle it. You should handle it. Boy, that would not go over well, would it? But that's what they want. I'll put the link to the article down below. Use this. Keep this in your back pocket. And then when you say, hey, women don't deserve to be protected any more than men do. And if something bad happens to them, well, it happens to men too. And this is where then women come out and say, no, that's not true. Women are harassed more often. They're attacked more often. That these bad things happen more often to them. And it's because of men. Well, what do you want men to do about it? Not do it. Okay, well, good men don't. Only bad men do it. And bad men are not going to listen to what you say. So what can good men do to help? Or what can good men do in this situation? Well, they can help a woman. No, we can't. We're told not to. Because that's being benevolent sexist. So I can't. Don't want that. So now what can good guys do? Nothing. So now you're going to be left with the bad actors, the bad guys that don't listen to crap like this and don't care, and they're going to do bad stuff to you. They do it to men do bad things to men. As a matter of fact, men are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Men are more often assaulted than women are. And men, as a matter of fact, are graped more often if you include the statistics of men in jail. So men actually, and when it comes to physical altercations, men have are more attacked more often and hurt more often than women are. When you look at statistics throughout, men are more often in fights, they're more often attacked, they're more often mugged, they're more often robbed, they're more often beaten up. That's a real stat. You can web search that. So again, the bad guys aren't going to listen to anything. They're just going to do bad things to you. And normally a good guy will say, I want to keep these bad men at bay from women because women are not as strong as men. They're not as aggressive, so on and so forth. But nope, not anymore, fellas, because that makes them look. So as she's getting the crap beaten out of her, don't step in, because that may make her feel like she's weaker and may make you look like you're sexist. So don't do it. Just call the popo and walk away, I guess. See, but if you really did do that, you would be the bad guy. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And so when things are good and there's no other problems in the world, they write articles like this. But if women were being attacked constantly and they said, as a man, what can I do? They'd say, please protect our women. Please make sure this. If you see a woman that needs help, help her. But only when it suits them. See, this is written by somebody that hasn't had a 6'4" dude coming after them to lay the smackdown on them. Because I'm a 5'7" dude, and even then I'm in trouble. If the guy's really a big, strong, like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his day could have probably, I mean, he shoulder pressed 300 pounds. He could pick me up over his head and throw me away. I'm 5'7", 150 pounds. But you know what? If it meant, back in the day, if it meant me breaking a limb, or at least making him not get to that woman to beat the living heck out of her, I'd call it a win. Not anymore. Nope, you're on your own. Sorry, it's what you wanted. So I just, again, make a phone call and then watch it happen.